This is a review of Mr Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore by Sloan. The story is obviously set in a bookstore, and the main character is a guy called Clay who's lost his job and he's looking for a new job. He happens one day upon this bookstore with a sign outside saying "Help Wanted." So for some strange reason he goes in. He's not sure why he goes in, and he ends up finding out he's then the night staff on the bookstore. The story is very much about a group of flatmates, really. It's, Clay is the guy who's in the bookstore, and he's got a couple of flatmates who are quite in the story as well. And it's about all the weird goings on that happen in the bookstore. First of all, there's a sort of strange back bookstore which Clay calls it the way back list, and that's got strange, unusual books in there that people only come in who are part of this club, and they come and borrow them like a library, and nobody ever seems to buy anything, and you can't understand why the bookstore can actually make any money. And then there's a weird strange coding in the books that isn't written in proper words or anything. It's all coded up, so that he finds very intriguing. So that sets him off into thinking, you know, what's going on. And because he's interested in computers, he decides to make some sort of computer generated model of the store. Then he realises there's sort of a code that you can see, a pattern that you can follow, and he starts getting intrigued with it. At this point he introduces other people into the story. He's got a friend who he quite fancies, who's she works for Google, and she's very clever at Google, so she gets involved, and that's how the story unfolds. And it's all about computer coding, the internet. It's very much it's got an undertone of Dungeons and Dragons and another story going on there. Mr Penumbra is this unusual character in his pea coat who comes and goes, and he's a bit of an enigma. And there's also quite a lot of to do with typeface and words, and it's got quite a history about it as well, where it goes back in time to do with the history of printing back before the Gutenberg press or anything like that. It's very interesting if you're interested in computers, books, if you're interested in typeface at all, or graphic design, if you're interested in Google. And it sounds like an odd mix, but it really works. It works well. I think I recommend that you try and read it, because I found it interesting. It was very easy to read, and the ending is very good. It takes you down quite a few twists and turns, and it's just enjoyable.